Hello family, my name is Linient Chege. Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please always remember to like and subscribe to my content. If you're a new subscriber, karibu sana. If you're an OG here, thank you so much for your support. What were your best childhood memories? Do you remember of any? Do you have any? Can you think about any? Please comment down there so that we can share our ideas together. I think I have a lot of child memories. I think very good child memories. Let me see how much or how many I can remember. But the times we were playing together as children, either in school or at home, in the neighborhood. I think we were more advantaged in that we had big spaces for us to play. There were big compounds even away from where we lived, and even where we lived we had space. There were big compounds where we could play and run and jump and do all manner of things. I think that's something that I really remember very well, and I enjoyed very well, if I recall, comparing to now, because today we have built in every space that there is. We have grabbed fields, even school fields, and children growing today are quite, they're not as interactive per se. They don't know how to bond more. They have a lot of energy and they do not know where to release their energies. I feel that that's something that actually I always think about every time. Our childhood was quite good. My childhood rather was good. Let me say that. Most of the things I did as a child, even the games I played as a child, have molded me somehow. Why do I say this? When I remember the games we played, let me start with the games. Things like Kalongolongo or Chamama and Chababa, if you remember very well. I do not see children today playing those kind of games. I don't even know whether they have a clue that there's such a game that they can play. Chabama and Chababa really was an interesting game because we copied what was happening within our families most of the time. We would choose who was going to be the father, nani atakuwa baba, nani atakuwa mama. Most of the time it was the children who looked a bit older than the rest, ndio wangekuwa baba na mama. Alafu we were so innovative. We made cars from boxes, from tins, from anything we found. I think we were very creative. How we made small cars from just a box. It didn't matter what kind of a box you had. If you wanted a big car for you, if it was a big car, a Range Rover, you take a big box and make it your car. And big tires were, we used like lids of big things to make it look like a big car. If it was a small car, we used bottle tops, and then we used the sticks from these brooms that we use. It has sticks that you can make and insert wheels for your car. We used wires. We would improvise hangers, the wire hangers to make cars. As in, unatengeneza tu hapo juu inakuwa wheel, unashikilia hivi, and we will ride that car like this. Na tumiguu tuwili tu pale mbele, and you are comfortable with that, and that was your car. And because we were trying to see what kind of family you want to become, I think so, because when we were babies or young children, I feel like that family thing starts from when you are very young. If you find a child is asking for toys like dolls, doesn't it mean that that child is really feeling good about taking care of a child? I feel like it's inborn in that we people who like nurturing, we like taking good care of people and things around us. We did copy what our parents did in the home. If they were cleaning, when we were playing Chamama and Chababa, we saw our parents. We never had mops. We never had these things that people are using today. We had rags, and these rags were from old clothes, so it was not stressful to go and sijui unaenda kutafuta rag ya kuosha nyumba. You just get an old t-shirt or an old dress that you're not wearing, inakuwa ni ya kuosha nyumba. So simple. I feel like we lived quite a simple life, less stressful, not to think about ati sijui nani anafanya nini, you know. And having copying that, Chamama, Chababa, umekuwa baba, mama, we had the young ones were treated as the children in that family. And then we'll make jikos from, you know, small jikos. They're small jikos from, what do you call it? From tins. Kitambo, there was an advantage of the way people packaged things. Most of the things were packaged using tins. And these tins, I remember, were very helpful in our innovation. These tins would cut them and then spread them. You draw your car there, because this is a lot of artwork, by the way. You draw hiyo gari, unachora side moja, alafu unaikata vizuri using a knife and something to gonga, you know, to just hit it, and you cut around. You make sure you cut all the sides of the car, and you have a car. Na unashikanisha na tuwaya tudogo, and becomes a small car, and you enjoy playing with it, and it becomes the dad's car in that Chamama and Chababa. And then we had containers with lids. Today we still have containers with lids, so you select the size of the lid you want depending on the car you've made and put them. And then bottle tops have always been very helpful, because even now we still have bottle tops, and these bottle tops can be used to play different games. I remember the other thing we used to do is, from those small jikos, we would take, let me not say take, because we would steal. We used to steal, but it made it look so real. We'll take mafuta from the house, cowboy, kimbo, whatever you have in your house. We'll take some sugar, we'll steal. It's stealing. I do want to say that, but we used to steal. Yeah, some sugar, some cooking oil or fat. It was fat then because it was kimbo, cowboy. I don't remember any other fat that we used to buy. And then some flour, some rice, some whatevers, and then we'll take some tins and wash them very well. Those tins would act as sufurias. How innovative is that? They will act as sufurias, and then we'll cook from them. We'll take, of course, spoons from the house, kwani tunaiba kwa nyumba. And worse becomes worse, vijiko za wenyewe unashinda ukipoteza. We'll take sticks and chonga those sticks and clean them, and then we'll use them as some stuff for stirring our food when cooking. Tunachomeka saa ingine when doing that, but we learned we learned the hard way. I feel that was quite real, and we practiced that, and we still practice it now as we are grown-ups. I feel the games we played were very good, they were very helpful, and in that cooking we were learning how to, you know, take care of yourself when using fire. We knew how to put off that jiko after we are through with it. Unaenda unazima, because it's the same things we saw our parents do. We copied everything, literally. And we would put the charcoal away. If it didn't burn completely, tunaenda tunaiweka mahali, si kwa nyasi, because we knew If you put it where there was grass, it will light up. So tunaenda tunaweka mahali where there is mchanga, and then you pour it down, and then you pour water on it, and you make sure it's off completely. We would take care of each other. We bonded more. We related very well when we were playing those games. I don't remember us bullying. Of course, there are places tulikuwa tunaambiana tumeshana friends. Then we'll do this with a pinky finger. Able to wish a friend. And imagine, this wish a friend was not a thing that we will fight about. Today, mtoto akikasirika na wewe, they either slap you or hit you bad, or I don't know how they take it. So it's such a serious thing, and I think it has grown to become where we are, to become the thing we are seeing today. The harsh things that are happening, I feel like that is what is being interpreted in how our children are growing today. Children today don't have space to play. They don't have space to release their energy. They're not as innovative as we were. I don't know whether it's materials we are lacking for that. I don't even know. Is it us as parents who are not trying hard to be there for our children so that we can also teach them? Or is it that generation yetu ilipita? I don't even understand. When I think about it, sometimes I don't even, it's something for discussion here. I think let's discuss this and see. Just put down your comments down there and let's discuss this and let's see. I'm giving my examples, my childhood examples. Tell me whether you were in the same time I grew up. Are you relating to what I'm talking about? And what can we do better for our children whom we are taking care of, who are being brought up today? Is if I told my friend to make a friend because maybe what you're doing we are not agreeing every time. Of course, there are times that we will not agree. It's not every time you will agree or we will agree. So tunaisha friend, and then guess what? Hiyo friendship inarudi tena. Tunakuja tunaambiana si turudi friend na tunarudi. I don't remember what we used. This was kuisha friend. Kurudi friend sasa sijui kama tulikuwa tunatumia any other fingers ama we just used to hug each other na tunaambiana tumerudi my friends na tunaendelea na game. I think there was a lot of love, care, relationship matters, how to take care of each other. We never fought. I don't remember fighting. We never ever fought at all. I don't remember. And these are things that as we grew up, we have now been using the same things in our homes. We knew how to cook at an early age. Some of us is because, like me, being a firstborn in the family, yes, my mom taught me how to cook at an early age. She taught me how to clean at an early age, how to do laundry. If it's a shirt, where you start the collar, we had all those tips. When my mom was doing laundry, I would join her and I would tell her I want to do some laundry. And which, by the way, I love laundry to date. Only that with age now, I'm feeling tired. I can't wash a lot of clothes. So today I have learned to wash one cloth or two clothes at a time. But sometimes I do a lot of laundry. Most of the time, sometimes they are not my clothes. They are maybe my dad's clothes because I live with my dad, or my son's clothes. But for me, I have learned to come home, get into the bathroom when I'm freshening up, wash whatever I was wearing and take it to the line. So, but with time, I learned how to do all those things, to scrub the sufurias, and that goes on to the schools at the time, the type of education we got at the time. I remember we had things that were so hands-on. This thing of being hands-on is quite good for us and for our children because it molded us. We did every class. I remember like home science. We had subjects like home science. We had art and craft. Yes, it was called art and craft as a lesson. And then we had 4K club. 4K is where we did a lot of farming. We had even clubs that were really helped us in life and molded us because most of these clubs, we learned a lot of life skills. Because I remember when we were growing, we did not have anything like life skills as a lesson, but later I learned there was something like social studies where people learn life skills. I don't know whether social studies still exists. Do you know? I'm sorry to say this. Mimi mali tumefika na education in Kenya, I don't know what is happening. Sorry to say. It feels like it's so confusing. Much as they're trying to bring about the things that maybe we did earlier on in time, I feel it's a mix-up. It's not organized at all. At all, it's not. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is we learned a lot. I remember in every class for home science, we made something. So like I remember in class 4, we did a bag. I don't know, remember what called it. It was kind of a sling bag. We sewed with our own hands. So we were taught how to cut the material and how to sew, to stitch it. Let me use the word stitch, to stitch it together. And when we were doing all this, the basics of stitching, we were taught the basics from the basic stitches that we learn that you can use even at home. I remember we started with putting in pins. I remember very well. You guys, if you were in that era where I grew up, if I'm wrong, kindly correct me. But I remember the basic thing we did was to put pins on the material of the fabric, and then it had a line where you were to follow. We were drawing lines. We were being taught how to draw those lines and where to follow so that the stitches can fall on that fabric. And then after that, the next thing was to do tacking. That tacking, and every stitch we did with different colors of threads so that you can differentiate between the stitches and their names. Am I right, guys? So tacking was next, and then the next stitch we learned was for back stitch. Imagine I still remember those things. Nakumbuka hizo vitu zote. How good is this? So we did back stitches, and after back stitches there was a place where we did hemming. Hemming was only done, we were taught, by the tulifunzwa vizuri. Hemming was only done at the edge. Hapa chini. Naona hapa chini ya nguo. Here. We will fold this and you will be taught how to put the hemming. We will measure this part, how many inches or centimeters for this, how you put the hem, and how to do the hem. We were taught all that. When it came to, I don't know which class, we did embroidery. Still, embroidery using the hands. Today people do embroidery using the machine, but wanatumia charahani siku hizi, sababu of course technology, kumekuwa na hizo mashine za kushona embroidery. We did embroidery with our hands. That was so good for artwork and use of hands, so that you can also be creative on everything that you do even at home. This helped us as young girls then, even most men who are grown up now, boys, learned how to do those things. And some of them, of course, it was very difficult to because coordination, mwanaume na sindano, I don't know, it's not their thing. But yes, some did it, and I think they can still remember that we learned those things. We did embroidery. We stitched table mats with embroidery, different colors of course, and we were taught how to do it. I still remember that. Hi. Then cooking. When it comes to cooking, we were told to bring, during home science lessons, we were told to bring stuff, or rather the teachers would buy using the money we are paying from our school fees, and then we'll cook different types of meals, and we learned how to use those ingredients, at what point to cook. I love cooking. I personally love cooking. I enjoyed cooking. Much as I did not do home science when I was in school, I remember I did art and craft. My sister, on the other hand, did home science. So we exchanged every time we were doing these things. We exchanged our teachings or our learnings, whatever we learned. How did you cook this food? So we'd sit down and discuss further. And you know, this was a kind of a way of relating with people, because when you come down and sit and start discussing what you learned in school, you even, I think that's why we even remember things that we did when we were young, because it was enjoyable. It's something we enjoyed. It's something that you will find in life as you're growing. We had debates. I remember we had debates in schools. Debates did very well. They made us improve in our English language, in our grammar. They made us become confident people. I don't know what happens to all these things that we used to do when we were in school. I mean, hello, Ministry of Education, can you please wake up? First, we had debates. We had very creative things that we did when I was growing up. And these were the very good things that molded most of us. And then 4K Club. I'll talk about 4K because I was also in the 4K Club. I loved farming. I still love farming. By the way, I've been farming for the longest time, but in different times. In 4K Club, we planted different plants or crops, if I may call them. And these were the plants that grew faster. I remember we did a lot of eggplants. Eggplants in Kiswahili ni biriganya. Tulipanda biriganya mingi. We planted, I think, carrots. What else did we plant? We planted a lot of things that we took care of. We did get to know how to grow those plants, how to take care of them, what to use when they are growing, watering them, you know. And it was something that we was in, like, for me, it was instilled in me. Every time we'll go to the shamba, look at the crops or the plants and see how they are doing, harvesting, how to harvest those plants, you know, from the seedlings to up to where you harvest. We learned all those things, and I still remember those things. And there were too many. I remember at one point we had very many eggplants to a time that we started selling them. It was a source of income for us as a club. And we sold these eggplants to the teachers in school. Some parents would buy, and you know, everybody would come running for them because they were looking very nice, very, you know, healthy, and they were, you know how a plant looks when it's looking good, you know. There were very many. We sold a lot of those eggplants. It was a source of income. We benefited in that we started buying other seedlings or seeds to plant in the next season, preparing land. How do you prepare land? We learned a lot of things. I will be doing some of these things practically one time so that you can see, and I'll mention their names as I remember more of this. Kati is where, and Blada, Kati, Blada. We, at one point we had rounders. We had, what else? There was gymnastics in school. Those healthy competition kind of games were very good. That's what I'm trying to say. Kati would have different teams playing against each other, and then there was Blada, also different teams playing against each other. And remember, guys, we never fought. We related very well. We were very friendly. We looked for ways and things on how to beat the other teams, you know. We even concentration. I feel like we learned a lot of concentration in these games, because some of these games you will not win if you are not having smart goals in the games. So it was quite interesting. And I remember TV was not such a thing. There was also a game we played that we would remember about TV programs and their names, and you are supposed to say there is a program which comes on such a day that starts with the name T or P, whatever program it is, and you're supposed to remember that. Yeah, and then you run, see how many times, 1, 2, 3. Those games were interesting. I remember there was Shake. I remember Shake. Shake again is another game you play against two teams. those games were good. They helped us in our imagination, memory, what we are supposed to do. Our mind was always working, thinking of how tomorrow tukicheza game fulani tutashinda hiyo team. Ati leo tuende tucheze sijui nini, sijui msonge show. There was msonge show also. I keep remembering them as there was another game that we said inaitangwa 1 2 3. 1 2 3, we would draw something like on the ground, inakaa ni kama ina mianda or somehow, alafu unacheza na nyota, unagonga 1 2 3, and the further you hit the better for you, utakuwa unasonga. It's kinda a game that had a start and a finish line, so ukimaliza ni kama umeshinda wale wengine. Ukipata mwenzako mbele, sijui unaweza mgonga, unaweza gonga nyota yake. Ukigonga nyota yake anatoka kwa game. You know, those kind of games were interesting and they helped us think better ways of doing things. Hatukuwa na maovu mingi kitambo, by the way, unless mimi sikumbuki, because we were so much engaged in these games every time. We looked forward to meet kwa ploti if we with the other children in the neighborhood. Football, kati, all those things we used to play, and they were quite interesting. Those are most of the best memories I remember when I was growing up and when I was a child. Maybe, I don't know, if I forgot another, kindly remind yourself and remind us on the comment section what games you played, what is the best memories you had as a child. Thank you so much for watching. I will be seeing you soon in our next video. Please always remember to like and subscribe to my content. See you then.